So here we are again, Brajesh, today with
Hi.
another info. Hi, hope everybody's doing well. So today we have the subject again on chronic pain. If you're in pain, back pain, leg pain, shoulder pain, and you can't get rid of it, focus on your emotions. That's basically our message to the world, and not repressing them. But because when you're repressing your emotions, that means they are not entitled to be there. And that becomes like a strategy you run in your mind, and it becomes conditioned behavior. So certain emotions under certain circumstances might not be allowed in your life, in your being. And this repression of emotions can be related to some limiting beliefs that you might have on emotions, and that's what is preventing you from feeling those emotions and being aware of those emotions. Okay, Brajesh, let me know one of your limiting beliefs that you had on certain emotions, if you
Well, I
had.
think that, yeah, absolutely. The first one I had was even why should I feel my negative emotions? Like I want to be positive. I want to be happy. I want to enjoy life. So why should I even feel my negative emotions? Like I don't want to feel them, which is a perfect reason that I was in pain.
I can
That's my,
completely relate to that.
yeah, that's my first limiting emotion, a belief. And, I look at it sometimes like a roller coaster. A roller coaster is no fun if you're just going up.
Yeah.
How long can you keep going up? It's boring, but life is much more interesting when things go up and down and up and down. And so allow yourself to feel the negative emotions as well. They're just emotions.
Yeah, and another a negative belief that I probably had was like, if you are too much focusing on the negative emotions, that you become this really heavy, boring, draining person, and that you hang in there with the emotion. And it's like, you want to puke it out. I don't like this. You sometimes have these type of people around you. They're only negative, and that makes you want to disgust. I want to stay away from those people. But you are right. If it will do waves, positive and negatives. They change each other. They come up and they go away, and both are there, and both are okay. That doesn't make you a negative person. You can still be a positive minded person. That's the type of things that you would like to do or reach in your life. Of course, those will make you feel happier, but don't neglect the negative ones. They have the right to be there too.
Yeah, and I think, as we said in another video, you don't even have to act it out. So you don't have to be that person that you don't like seeing. At the same time, you just allow those emotions to be present within you.
Yeah. And another limiting belief, something that might preventing you from having all the emotions, is if you've been brought up and it's like you have to be a good person. And when you have to be a good person, well, then negative emotions. How can you be a good person when you have negative feelings and emotions? So, if that's the way you've been brought up, then your strategy of dealing with emotions and dealing with stress is then often repressing them. And repressing is like they are there, but you can't see them. They're out of your awareness, but they are there. That's how you can. I lost my line, Brajesh.
No, and I think you're exactly right that when people feel tired or they feel foggy or they feel that they just want to sit down or they want to go away, actually what's happening is that that's the emotion, but because you're completely unaware of it, it's coming across as a physical behavior and you can't explain it. You suddenly have to leave the room or you're feeling foggy or dizzy or tired. Actually what's happening is that if you were connected and noticing that emotion that was coming up in that moment, you wouldn't feel those things. You'd actually still be present in that moment, make some decision or action that was based on the emotion that you were feeling. And we end up acting it out in different physical ways and being completely unaware that because of trying to be a good person, we're actually repressing that emotion. And repressing means you're not aware of it. So you don't even realize that you're doing it. It's not your fault.
Exactly, it completely happens unconsciously, and it's like, this strategy that you created in your mind. Consider toothbrushing. In the beginning, when you learn it as a child, you do everything consciously. You have to take that brush, you have to put it in your mouth. But now it's an automatic process. You don't put the toothbrush in your ear. Yeah, well, despite maybe if you want to clean your ears in a different way. But anyway, and with emotions, dealing with emotions, learning how did you learn to deal with emotions, that sometimes that already happened somewhere along the way in your past. And if were not been taught how to be aware of the emotions, well, that's where they are often repressed. If in your life there are in your upbringing there are some beliefs on emotions, and what is really important is just be aware of it, feeling them. You don't need to necessarily act on the emotions. That's a different subject. Do you have another belief that sometimes people have on some specific emotions?
I think like one of the biggest ones that keeps people in pain is anger and rage. So besides the other emotions, those are usually one of the most repressed ones. That I'm not an anger kind of person, or I'm not a rageful kind of person, and that is maybe in some situations, like someone cuts you off, you might yell at them. But in other situations where some injustice is done to you, or something that should have been done in a certain way but now it's going to impact your life, will generate anger and rage. And most people are not even aware of it. Most people that are in pain are just not even aware that those emotions are coming up. So be on the lookout for those as well.
Right. And, if in somewhere in your life you've dealt with people that are verbally slightly aggressive or strong in the way they express themselves, and you don't like that type of expression, then you can also have developed a habit of not accepting anger and rage in your life. Yeah.
And it's the all we're suggesting is, like, when, like Esther said, the toothbrush, you put it in your mouth instead of your ear. You have developed a strategy for not allowing yourself to notice the emotions that are coming up. And the great news is that we have neuroplasticity in our brains, and we can change our strategies, and experience changes the brain. So simply, once you start noticing the emotions that are coming up, you're changing the strategy that you've been using until now. And once you change that strategy, you'll notice that your pain will go down.
All right. So basically, wrap up for today. Notice for yourself if there are any limiting beliefs or restricting beliefs that you might have on emotions, or in some emotions, in some situations, and see if you can deal with them differently if you're in pain, and just allowing them without judgment. An emotion has no meaning. Let them come and go through you.
Yeah, and tell us in the comments, try it, see how it works for you. If you have any kind of questions, we're here to help you, and we'll respond.
Yes, good. And if you have any other questions on chronic pain and emotions and stress and tension, contact us as well, and we'll see if we can do an informational video about it. Okay, thank you, Brajesh. See you next time.
Oh, yes.
High five.
I missed that.